loot bet favoring SKADE, and APEKS going to be having to prove themselves to get those odds a little bit lower for themselves. And we'll see how they do going for the A mid split, as the USPs are just holding some angles, trying to find them. And Marcelius already out into jungle. That's a dangerous lurk position, but the A-take is on his way without him. And Spellland drops the bomb into Sandwich. All the stops are off now. Spellland can't quite finish that one off. Dennis does get him, the pistol god. If you remember, had that kind of reputation back in the NIP days. And SKADE does get the first one. Good at getting pistol rounds if today is anything to go by. And let's see what APEKS are going to do. As you predicted.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Where a lot of other teams would force buy in this situation. Maybe not so much on the T side of things, but even then, I don't know, just on the off chance, right? That you can do some damage, make the rifle round easier. And sure, it comes out a little later, but yeah, it's really interesting.
And they're spreading out with these Glocks as well. It's not like they're going somewhere just as a single unit. They are spreading out completely, getting some dinks off, but not kills. You want to get that HP down to 0, not just 20 or 12. As they do seem to have conceded this round completely at this point. Dennis, let's roll back the years, Dennis. That's an ace with a P250 waiting to happen. Never mind, he gets spotted. And falls. Eventually, not even getting one consolation frag. And with 4K in the bank, the rifle buy happens, and look at this. SKADE still have to play with FAMAS, an MP9, 2 FAMASs even. How to get an advantage as fast as possible. Just eco. The new meta.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? In terms of the weaponry, it's strong enough. And I mean, on a map like Mirage, your utility could be fairly basic if you choose to go for a basic execute. So, yeah, we'll see. I think it does limit you in a sense that you can't bait as much from the CT side as you would like. Because obviously it costs you a fair amount. But it's a very interesting thing to watch and to see how it turns out. And maybe teams, particularly at this level with the force buy in the second round being so prevalent, maybe how teams can get caught off guard by a strong buy in the third round. Obviously they'll be expecting it. They know that it was Glocks in the previous round. They were indeed awake, but all the same, you just maybe not quite as prepared for an approach like this. We'll see. Time will tell. Nice little molly and flash into connector, clearing that out. Spellin just jump peeking, trying to spot short more than anything. I'm not seeing anything just yet, but they're really going for the heavy mid control. Oh, Dennis, I like this push. It's well timed. He's not able to find the frag onto Truth, and Truth is out of there. However, that does give the game away that it's going to be a B hit. They need to be winning this on the APEKS side of things. So far, a 1-for-1 trade. Going to work out for them. Oh, Spellin, that timing is so unfortunate. He goes for the re-peek, and Dennis will drop him. That is rough, and it's now a man advantage. A slim one, but a man advantage nonetheless for APEKS to work with. Truth and Dennis trying to stay alive.
Oh, gets blocked.
Great stuff by APEKS. Yeah, and that's really awkward. Going to cause a few problems within the team, within the communication, perhaps. That is, yeah, big miscommunication that ends up maybe not costing them the round, but certainly it's going to rub salt in the wound.
I mean, the round wasn't as cut and dry as you might think. The bomb hasn't even gone down yet, and it was very late. So if it goes down that late, the CTs have all the time in the world to just clear every angle, be diligent, you know, wait for the T pushes initially, and then go in clearing angles, which definitely could go either way. But like you said, gunfights just go APEKS's way, and they do win the round off the back of that. The rifle buy, very much working out, and this is kind of how metagames develop, right? If everyone is going for the force, the CTs are going to be going for all the SMGs and stuff. So what you kind of want to be doing is be the team that doesn't do that, so that you get the rifles as fast as possible, and now you have like a noticeable advantage in that round of aim duels all going your way because of that one tap headshot potential. And the rush just coming in now. On from Catwalk. No kills happening as of yet. Denislaw does get him. Not through the smoke. His head was showing. And Rain, Waker, and Spellland get one as well. APEKS trades, but it's a 4v2. And with APEKS on low HP, it's pretty much a 1v4 at this point. Truth, he better find something to duplicate in an off angle. Ooh, does find him. So now the A-bomb site is completely open. They don't know it. They don't expect it to be that empty, but with 1 minute left on the clock, they can do some magic.
Not over just yet. Spellin getting a bit aggressive, little giddy over the top. Does need to be careful. Flash comes through, and they're just holding things nice and passive, waiting for the manpower to get here. Oxygen drops. APEKS, it's all down to Truth. They're not going to make it to him, but they are buying time for this flank right here that he's just not expecting at all. Even as the round goes on, even as he clears out the A site, but he will check at the very final second, finds the head. That is huge. And now it's all onto Oxygen. Truth looking to seal the deal, looking for this 4K. Another nade coming in for him, so softening Oxygen up ever so slightly. Flashes so he can get across. Going to go for the swing and gets the clean headshot. That is a hell of a clutch coming in from Truth. 4K overall from him as well. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the hard truth there. That round shouldn't have been theirs at all, but he does anticipate the backstab at the very last second. When that smoke was clearing, that's probably when the CT was going to be pushing out of ramp, and it does happen. Oh, just a beautiful round from him. As they do start this one as an anti-eco. Not going to be caught off guard by anything yet, but there is a connector stack, and, well, Dennis does manage to do a spray transfer to 2 people, and the rest is just cleanup crew duty. The round is indeed over. APEKS with another win, and SKADE not getting much done on their eco. This USP probably going to do nothing as well.
To be expected, though. And this is maybe that previous round definitely playing into it. This is a situation in which SKADE might shake a little bit, might still have their minds back in Dust 2. And APEKS do have that surprise factor about them. We see that perfectly from Truth. And I don't think it's going to be the last time that we see a round like that coming in from an APEKS player. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Spellin so close to dropping Gruss. Would have been nice. One of those rounds where any damage is good damage, but not the case. Third round for APEKS. They very quickly strike back, gain the lead real fast off of SKADE. So this next rifle round I'm going to have to work out.
Going to be interesting to see what kind of setup they're going to be going for with such low utility here on SKADE. They do have 4 smokes. That keeps them at bay for a little while, but then you start running out of stuff, you know? You don't have those mollies to drag out the rushes once they start happening. You don't buy the time you need to call for backup, and at that point you might as well have a ton of player at just one bomb site, and that's exactly the one they're going to be executing on. The bomb and apps moving forward, looking for some kills, still throwing some mollies down in Oxygen, ironically burning in the bench area. Oof, and Gruss does go get Rainwaker. And the B-take is still on. Truth goes to Van and gets a double. That is a round-winning double right there. They don't know it yet, and they do expect the other CTs to be close. But as long as they expect Spellland here at bench, I don't think he gets anything more done than just the 1 kill. And at that point, a trade isn't really worth it for the CTs. Let's see what happens, though. Gets 1. You didn't hear him.
No.
Truth, you have headphones on. Spellland gets a 3rd. Holy, that was insane. I didn't expect him to do that at all. Just thought it was a one-and-done position, but he delivers with a triple. Let's
My
see that in
goodness.
slow motion.
I mean, I expect him to get the first, but yeah, that second you just feel spins around, catches him while he's recocking. Maybe, you know, there's a millisecond kind of chance, millisecond kind of catch that he could get away with it. Not like that. Absolute filth.
Fantastic stuff coming out here. Ooh. Yeah, you do want to be doing those grenades onto top mid if you know there's presence, but exposing yourself in just the wrong time does get you killed like that, and well, it's a 4v4, which does favor the T's, and they do have 2 smokes, not enough for a clean A take. It's going to be a bit scrappy if they do decide to commit toward that, and it looks like they are. The bomb going to be setting up for that jungle smoke, presumably. That's why you go up here. Although you can throw it from way further back. If you do this in matchmaking, probably do the further back version, as no one is going to be watching, you know, the advance for you. Flashes do rain into A. Marselius gets one, but then his slow responds. Ooh, and a sick
great
flash. Jinx.
That's absolutely huge. One of us has got to keep talking, though. I gotta keep going. The rules of Jinx can't apply. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe in the next round. Oh my goodness, a great return flash coming in from the T side. We're seeing some fantastic utility usage here. A nice turn away from Oxygen, but the MP9 not enough. APEKS will pick up the 4th. Take it over the line, and they continue just about to hold on to their lead.
Man, after all that stuff that SKADE did, APEKS still come out on top. I'm loving APEKS right now. Looks like they're doing pretty good stuff here. Gonna be another anti-eco for them. Very few force buys in this so far. I guess when one team's not doing it, you kind of adapt. And the stack seems to be going toward B for the CTs. And the T's as well, congregated in apartments with the bomb. And short, Gruss gets a double there. Meanwhile, Denislav responds, and the B take is in effect. Only Stellan left with the USP, can't get anything done. And a 5th for APEKS.
Technical coming in. Does seem the common denominator with those has been SKADE, so maybe a few issues in their camp this afternoon. Of course, shout out to Hellcase, our primary case partner, Malta V. Malta V15, I can say it before it comes up, because I have watched this many a time. They are indeed a really, really good partner for us to have. Shout out to those guys. But those 2 codes will get you a bit of extra cash, as well as 15% refill bonus. There's a banner down below. Get it clicked. Takes you straight to their website. They've got an esports mode. They have so many cases. Really, really good guys. And their continued support goes a long way.
Shout out to them. Maybe the technical pause is for Dennis to get his headphones plugged in, because remember when he didn't turn around for that op shot? I believe it was Dennis. Hope he's not playing on speakers, even if you got a 7.1 surround. Probably not ideal.
I think it's Dennis that went down. Is it maybe true? I can't remember.
He was the one planting.
Definitely Dennis that died.
He didn't turn around while he was like on the default site. I don't think he even had a bomb in his hand. It was just an AK, but he just didn't turn around.
It was wild. And I'm not sure if that's maybe a communication issue. Whether
someone's like talking,
the language barrier,
he's
maybe
like,
as well.
Off bench. That
I think
works.
he's
in every
bilingual
language.
though. Dennis definitely played in a Danish team at one point, if I'm remembering correctly. Or maybe trilingual, I should say. I imagine his English is pretty solid.
Yeah, definitely. And
Maybe even more.
if
I don't
you
want to mischaracterize him.
if you really commit to learning a new language in Scandinavia, Finnish is obviously way different, but as far as I know, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish are kind of cut from the same cloth. So if you try, you can understand each other. Maybe not speak it fluently, but in the language of CS, op bench.
Yeah.
I think bench should be about the same word in both languages. So
yeah,
a little bit of
not too far off, or to your right, or whatever. Like, definitely a wild one. Definitely a wild one. I think we can both agree on that, and it may well not have much of an impact, but it's still really strange to see.
Yeah, unless bench is for them called like some obscure player from Norway. How regional scenes sometimes do that, where like in Denmark everything is just called like
true.
glaive and zipnex and whatever. Maybe it was one of those calls. It was like, where? Falls off the back of that.
Slow start into this round.
Very.
About a minute gone.
A fake onto A.
Seen
Those two smokes
an
coming in.
awful lot of action. Yeah, they are going to dedicate to the fake here. However, with Spellin pushed up so aggressively and also finding a frag, the fake might not be sold.
But
or maybe it is. Rainwakers moving across pretty damn quickly. Noise being made over on B, but the damage is already done. Oxygen has got to go huge. He finds one. Great smoke to buy him some time. And I think he might just have done it right. His partner rotating back in as well as the rest of the squad. Meanwhile, the push is not really coming solidly. Marcellius misses a sitter, it looks like. Dennis does manage to trade him back, but he's not ready for Rainwaker. And this, once again, is a bit of a blunder from APEKS, you have to say. Maybe not moving fast enough onto that B-bomb site.
Yeah, the sole beholder was lucky that no one was short, as he was fully exposed to it with no like chance to retaliate if anyone came up short, and middle wasn't even watched by SKADE. So frankly, if they weren't all apps, this B take would have been successful for sure. But then the fake wouldn't have worked, right? They would have been they thought they would have been spotted on mid. So unfortunate, but the fake did work, which is very surprising. You'd assume a team on the caliber of SKADE would have seen the writing on the wall, you know? Oh, there's just 2-man utility and like just one kill that we got on ramp. No need to rotate yet. You don't even see the bomb on the radar. Absolutely no need until you see that. But the behold stands anyway. I guess they trusted that one player that was there. And a tactical timeout this time from APEKS. Don't worry, we're not going to another technical.
Thank goodness.
As they haven't won in a while now. Missing that feeling.
I definitely respect it, though. It's early on in the game. I think they recognize with the rounds that they've won that they can beat this team, and some of the rounds that they've lost have kind of been their own fault, you have to think, right? That 1v3 should never happen. So I think they're definitely recognizing early that if they just, shift things back in their favor, it should be good for them. Rainwaker, though, he's got other ideas. Triple almost coming in for him. Dennis Law will find that third at the end. But the CT side coming away with 3 very quick frags. And now into a 5-on-2. Out of nowhere. Out of absolutely nowhere. The timeout does not work at all for APEKS, and SKADE are straight back into proceedings.
Just a disastrous start for them right now. Off the back of the timeout as well. That's got to be telling SKADE that whatever APEKS is doing isn't quite working. And with 3 CTs holding apps, just no way they come out of this one alive. Not even a chance. Oof. Truth gets found out. The truth is out there, as it were. And Spellin does take care of him. And we'll be going into 5-5, the scoreline. Looks like we got a tied game on our hands, but with SKADE winning the pistol round, I think APEKS still have the advantage, given how many real rounds, quote unquote, have been played so far.
Yeah, very true. That is very true. Again, it comes into play, right? And certainly something that we've got to consider. But it looks like they are set to pick up the lead here, so unless these sporadic pistols can get anything done. A very quick attempt to move into window, but Denislaw shuts it down before it's even begun. Rainwaker will steal his eco ace.
You don't steal the eco ace. That's just
I know,
BM.
man. He knew where he was and everything. But all the same, a 6th round for SKADE coming in very, very quickly and very cleanly, which is key to building up that extra cash. Yeah, he just swings out and the nade helps him, but they are stacked on top of each other. I don't even think he realized there were 3 players there when he started firing.
Definitely not. As we do see APEKS just going all out with this buy. Pretty much 0 money left over for the next round, so... I mean, they do have a bit of a loss bonus going on already, but definitely going to be a full eco next one. If that's indeed how they always roll. And no mid control coming from them so far. Looks like it's going to be a late A execute with one coming underground later on. And this A bomb site looking a bit empty. Duplicate going to be able to give the early information given his location. Denislaw picking up the lurker from B. Might call that there's maybe B presence, but Duplicate is calling ramp presence as well. Marcelius gets the opener. But is Duplicate able to get anything done? Gets 2 kills and a very nice spray transfer. Gets killed by Truth eventually coming from Palace, but holy, that was a nice spray down coming in there on ramp.
Yeah, they seem to have hit a massive groove here, like such an upsurge in momentum. The rally from SKADE, absolutely huge. And it looks set to continue. Another half buy from APEKS. Not really much else they can go for. So really solid stuff from the CT side to kind of start asserting some dominance. APEKS were doing it very early on. Individual plays. Working off of the back of that. Oh, that is so awkward, though. I'm not sure whose flash it was. It looks like it might have been a CT flash. Marcelius coming in with a kill onto Rainwaker. This has suddenly become very interesting. Player and connector not going to get caught, though. Oxygen also chiming in. It looks good as the remaining 3 players do indeed find their frags. Just a bit of a messy start for SKADE. However, I think they'll be happy. You know, dropping an AWP, dropping a rifle. Can't save both of those, so it will be one of these players here on the CT side feeling the burn. One would assume Rainwaker. This is very quickly, very, very quickly gone from being like a 5-3 into an 8-5. It feels like it has been a really short amount of time.
Yeah, Spellland and Denislaw really carrying here. Denislaw on 17 frags. No one really falling behind on APEKS. I mean, AKES, I guess, has the fewest, but everyone kind of on the same sort of level kill-wise. It's just that it's bad across the board, and well, AKES does improve that his stats a little bit, but let's see if this man advantage is going to be enough. Cold, oh no, turns around at just the wrong time. Danny goes down. And Gruss gets his double, but Duplicate responds. AKES, however, responds back. And we have the A-bomb side firmly in the control of APEKS. With the final SKADE player in Oxygen going down there on short. Double up setup, though, coming in on SKADE.
Could be big. Could be big. Final round of the half, right? Another thing for APEKS to deal with. I think they can be fairly happy with the 7 on the T side. Does kind of depend here. I will take a quick little look at it. It looks like it's even in terms of the percentage rounds won. So... But I think keeping it as close as damn it on a map that you have a 25% win rate on is pretty good. And Truth finding the opening here. It looks like it is going to be close as damn it may be. He's out on the A-bomb site all by himself. He is immediately cleaned up by Spellin. But a big question mark for SKADE comes in. Is it another of their classic A-fakes? Or are they actually going to commit to this one? Not sure. Spellin is just about able to survive. The nade, though, takes down Akez. Beautiful stuff. Rainwaker softening him up fantastically. And that'll give them the advantage that they need now.
They already had the advantage with these AWPs. Holding from such far angles, they're basically guaranteed one kill. And then anything else on top of that is gravy. Or they just like relocate and then go for the very favorable retake. Potentially in the cards, but it looks like Dennis Law is just going to get it over before the bomb even goes down. Probably not something they want to do is to give APEKS the economic advantage by letting them plant the bomb. And Oxygen does pick up Marselius there at the end of 9-6. Very favorable for SKADE. Didn't expect that. Mirage being like a CT-sided map, but lately that's been kind of going away, so maybe it was like, yeah, you can see just a long stretch of round wins there in the middle. That's where they had them figured out. That was after the timeout as well. And APEKS are probably going to need a pistol round off the back of this. And our betting partners at LootBet agree with us that SKADE are probably in the favorable position on this one. But hey, APEKS aren't out of the woods yet. I give them a... I'm not going to say an actual percentage. That would that would get me some hate if anyone bet on the back of that. So let's keep those opinions to ourselves. The mid-peak did happen, but SKADE did lose one player, and APEKS is going to be holding very comfortably with 3 players here for the B take. So let's see how that goes.
Ooh, Dennis. Yeah, immediately regrets that decision. Drops down. All a distraction, I guess. Marselius coming in with another hit for the TT side. They are stacked and ready, but look at all these kills from SKADE. The Glock's overwhelmed, and I think they might continue to do so. We'll see. It's still up in the air. Oxygen able to take down another. It's all on to Truth. He needs to find Oxygen now, and he can't. The running Glock, too much for him to deal with. SKADE somehow turning that one on its head. Oh my goodness, what a chaotic pistol.
Pistol Kings, man. Pistol Kings. SKADE haven't dropped one. Dennis, you're off the Pistol King status.
Whoa.
He was off that a while ago, but, you know, now it's official.
Yeah, he had that one clip that was pretty good.
Oh, it was such a good clip, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. But since then, maybe it's not... I mean, how do you live up to that, to be honest? So, yeah.
I mean, you don't. You just go and play Tier 2, Tier 3. And see if you can still get anything done there.
He's having a good time with his bros, you know?
Yeah, all players, like pros especially, because their egos are so inflated, they do still think they can come back. Like, they legitimately believe that they can still be world number 1, and it's that kind of Cobra mentality that keeps you going. And they're going to need this, our APEKS, because this A take has been flawless so far, getting the kills they need, and Marselius while doing damage, while all of them doing damage, Spellin and Waker being low. Not getting the kills finalized, which is unfortunate, and, well, with 2 Deagles, Gruss and Dennis. Let's see if they can get anything done there. Gruss gets 1, but he was low HP, so doesn't really count for much. And we see SKADE with a commanding lead here on Mirage. As expected, the odds heavily favored them, like if you look at the win percentages on HLTV. But the next map, Nuke, that's the one that has me excited. We'll see if APEKS actually has, you know, what it takes to win on a map that neither of these teams particularly like.
Oh. APEKS, unlucky. I think the A stack not going to work out here, although the full commit into B hasn't come in. It looks like with Rainwaker in an aggressive position, they're kind of leaning that way. I think that's where they're going to end up. So, might end up being a bit of an anticlimactic round, to be honest with you. But yeah, it definitely seems SKADE are steaming ahead, which I think is a little worrisome. You touched on it a bit as well. I just think that maybe APEKS, rough result selector, don't get me wrong, decent enough team in terms of the firepower that they have there, but I don't think have been together for very long, so still working out some of the kinks, and yet able to get the better of APEKS, a team that's been together for quite some time now. So maybe they are having a bit of a rough day.
They do have Oscar, though. It was Oscar, right?
Yeah.
It's just, whew, like,
yeah, a bit of experience.
Anyone that thinks he wasn't particularly good, like, that's tier 1 sort of level, you know?
Yeah.
When those players drop down a level, they have the potential to just dominate. And like the things I've heard about him, like in terms of how hard he works or how good he really still is, it's I wouldn't be surprised if he carried that game. I didn't look at it because I was obviously casting this one, but
well, I have some bad news for your analogy.
Oh no!
Unfortunately, he was at the bottom, my guy. So
that's why you check HLTV before you make statements like that.
It was actually Big Man Edward. So I suppose
Ooh,
what you were saying in terms of tier 1 players dropping down does apply just to the wrong one in the end.
You don't see it coming from Edward, though. He was very underwhelming there at the end of his career in Na'Vi.
Yeah, well, look, man, you talk about all this mental, and, you know, you mentioned, like, pro players, tier 1 players maybe sticking around for a little long. I think he had lost that motivation, and it'll be interesting to see coming into a newer squad how he's able to perform and whether he steps up. I think he did a little bit of an interview when they did the old Na'Vi versus the new Na'Vi, and he seemed very into this, and, you know, I think it's his own org as well. So I feel like he's got a lot of skin in the game for this, and yeah, just hoping to give them the boost. And you never know if it is indeed his org. If I am correct in thinking that, you know, I will hold my hands up and say maybe I'm not. But I think he has a large role to play in the team at the very least. So he may well try and help them and give some of these players experience, the likes of Tapper and Juan Flatro, young guns, right, and have been looking very good recently. So yeah. JL also, I think I've seen a little bit of him. Not an awful lot, but he's only 20. So there's a lot of young guns in that squad that maybe Edward is trying to help move forwards, and it's a cool kind of project. I always love to see that, you know, a young in with the old, which is kind of what we have with APEKS, but clearly at the moment, not working out so well.
Yeah, it's definitely something you have to do. I mean, not all old players want to become coaches or analysts or, I don't know, casters, I suppose, but they do want to keep playing. Like, that's the thing they like, just playing the game. And if you're not going to be able to convince them to do anything else, playing with youngsters, like giving them, like, those youngsters are actually going to listen to you because they respect you, because they started playing around the time when you were at your peak. So you kind of know that they have this inherent respect for everything you say and will, like, just follow everything you say to a T. And when you see yourself as a youngster carrying these old guns, I think it is a real morale boost and really develops your sort of performance, your career. It's very nice to see that happen. Snacks is doing that as well.
Yeah, it's
Neo,
an interesting conversation.
Taz,
for sure. Ooh.
All of those.
Okay. Well, we've seen another crazy start to this round, though, Sermon. Truth will come in onto Denner's Law, 4-on-3, just like that. Really looking good. Rainwaker's out on the B bomb site, and I think he has just swept under the radar, I should say. Yeah, really good stuff from him. Oxygen able to drop a distracted Gruss. That'll be the round. And I think they know it. 3-on-2, not impossible. Losing that fight in middle probably makes it impossible, but all the same, they just had, like, no information or control to work with in the 3-on-2 situation. Now, definitely the case Paquet's just trying to escape with this AK, and he can't even do that. So SKADE have been making absolute mincemeat out of them on this T side. APEKS yet to pick up a round.
As expected. I mean, again, Mirage, not their pick, not their best map even, but they had other maps they had to ban, and Mirage was the best of all evils, I suppose. APEKS might want to just mentally check out at this point, get it done over with quick, and go on to Nuke, where the real test is going to happen, because Nuke, and after that is Dust 2. Dust 2 is anyone's game. We know that. And it's definitely not over here after Mirage, and I would strongly suggest that people stick around, because this has the potential to go all the way.
Deegs, always deadly, as we've already seen. But at this point, it's tough. Doing damage and whatnot is great, but really not enough. They need the rifle rounds to be working. Commentate this all the same, and you never know. Eagles might just get it done. Doesn't matter. Caught completely off guard. They were not aware of that push into connector at all. I thought the player from the CT angle would be watching at least a little, but must have slipped away from him. And, well, just like that, it goes from a 4-on-4 into a 4-on-1. Gruss, certainly possible for him to find the headshot there onto the AWPer, but Spellen gets a bit of help. Will be the 14th coming in for SKADE. One more rifle round. APEKS have got to find it. If they lose it, the game falls with it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this double op setup, I mean, they probably should go a little bit aggressive, as Dennis doesn't have much utility, so he isn't actually that useful past the first shot. And if he can get into some kind of position to get something done, that'd be great. But the tragedy of the CT side is you can't really decide where the engagements happen. Or maybe I spoke too soon. They do decide that the engagement will happen onto ramp, but it does come out of Palace first. And, well, Spellan and Oxygen win the exchange on Duplicate saw his head, but he's spamming the wrong side. Oh, unfortunate, but the head did definitely clip through the wood there. As Spellan comes out of ramp and gets a critical kill onto Truth. This round, ooh, no, Gruss, he's going to have to make noise if he's going to come out of here, and that is just heartbreaking.
Yeah, their own decision-making ends up being their downfall, but he just make it in quick. Okay, all right, fair enough, dude. That's pretty spicy. Brings it into a 2 versus 2. It's suddenly become a bit more interesting now, and certainly doable for APEKS. Time working against them with no kits. Information not quite there for them, but a great little Molotov to clear out the ninja area. Makes life slightly easier. Spellen, meanwhile, holding from ramp, a great spot for him. Coming into this retake, right? He is set up for both these players, gets the flick onto Gruss, and he's able to get the second as well. Beautiful round from Spellen overall. Huge 4K from him. Will secure map point pretty prematurely. I honestly, after an explosive start on that T side, I did think that APEKS would be a bit more competitive moving into the CT side of things, but still yet to pick up a round.
The fact you said that they were an inconsistent team, maybe one of the elements of that inconsistency is just low morale, and there's no like coming back from it. Because once they started losing, I mean, like you said, they just haven't won a round. It's just an awful sort of way to handle being low on rounds. Better teams would have, you know, recomposed, reassessed, something else, and just gotten back in the game, but they just... Well, as I say that, Marcelius does get a kill, and another one onto Rainwaker in the apps. So maybe this isn't all over yet, though. Oxygen keeping the hope alive that this one's over at 16-6 by taking the A bomb site, and now there's 2 CTs rotated there. There's still one pushing B apps, but the bomb is also in B apps, and Spellen has it with an AWP no less. So if he scopes, he gives away the game. He lets him know that this A take is not all that it seems to be. But CT is compromised. Oxygen going to be going for a wide peek there, and for all they know, he could be in kitchen right now. There's no way to know, but they do know now because he fell in CT. Stanislaw does get the kill and does distract these CTs long enough for the bomb to go down on B, runs back down a ramp, and just probably is going to take out the knife at some point because he needs to run very fast. The CTs have now noticed that the bomb is in fact on the B site, and hopefully, yeah, just dodging kitchen, but they're going to be meeting in apps now. Danislaw, he made enough noise, and Marcelius, while low HP, goes down. And it's all down to Gruss, who can't possibly expect every single angle in the game to have an AWP sitting behind it. And SKADE win this one 16-6, a commanding lead, just a complete moral breakage of APEKS, and they do win this one in the end.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Really, 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 really good stuff from them on that second half, on that TE side. Yeah, I mean, what more can we really say? Like, they just absolutely demolished APEKS, able to keep their economy under the cosh, right? And make sure that they weren't really able to get a foot in the door. Couple close rounds, but a lot of them very, very dominant from SKADE. And really, really well played. The likes of Spellin, the likes of Denislaw, looking solid, actually. 100 ADR for Denislaw, so that's absolutely massive. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, I don't necessarily think you can point the finger at a single individual. Certainly Dennis not performing brilliantly, but like the whole team, it just seemed their CT side was in complete disarray and a complete mess. And the thing is, although it's not a fantastic map for them, they come in after a 16-12 against Selector. Certainly interesting that, you know, it ends up being so one-sided.
You can't have that many maps in your pool that are just relatively bad for you. At that point, I think, like, since everyone plays Mirage anyway, Mirage should be like a dark horse pick for you, and with that low of a win percentage, just not going to get it done. But like I said, maybe they were just mentally checked out completely from like the losing streak beginning onwards. And maybe they're just saving all their energy for the nuke map. I mean, they do need it. They played a best of one just before this, so hopefully they still won't be drained enough to play the nuke game. And perhaps on nuke they can win. Like, it's anyone's game. Neither team is good on nuke here in the traditional sense. I'm sure they all know their executes, but you know, a basic set of executes is not enough to get you a W at the end of the day. And they hopefully can get this one done.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's really going to be interesting whether APEKS can bounce back after that, whether they are indeed playing to the level of SKADE today. We've mentioned that they seem to have a little bit of a lack of energy, maybe. I'm not sure. Like, they're just not playing their best Counter-Strike, I don't think, at least in the two maps that we've seen across the course of the day. So, nuke, kind of up in the air at the moment. SKADE seem to be the favorites. APEKS looking to deny that away. We'll find out how things go down after the break.
Don't go anywhere.
Map 2 on the way. We will be shortly in there for Apex and SKADE, as the first map kind of ends pretty quickly. I think it is safe to say, right? And now we're moving into Nuke, which is much more up in the air in terms of who wins it. It is all down to Apex. Have they come to play today, or are they just not on that top tier level we expect from them?
Yeah, and for those of you that didn't catch the first map, just a complete stomp from, I would say, the half onwards. Just not very many or any rounds won from the side of Apex. And pretty expected, though. Mirage, not their best map. They had to let SKADE pick it, as they have a permaban in Inferno. And you don't want to play Train against an Eastern European team, as I've already said. That's just a scary prospect onto its own. Mirage, everyone plays Mirage. You can probably win that. They didn't, but they could have. And now we're going into Nuke, which really, like, no team plays that much or is that successful on it. So a complete crapshoot. I should hope, since both teams have a permaban, they should have a game plan that's decent for Nuke. But we'll see if they can actually realize it better than the other guy. We'll see if, if it comes down to a bunch of scrappy gunfights, that one team or another can come out on top. And it's not over for Apex yet. And if they win this, they get to Dust, which they are not superior to SKADE statistically in, but certainly we've seen SKADE on Dust today, and they didn't do well on that CT side. Almost came back on the T side against Spirit, but did not. And they may still be shooken up from that. So we'll see if they can do it on Nuke.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That is a fair point. I think their CT side, just overall, it's not quite as exploited as much on Mirage, but it does seem to be a bit weaker, right? The T side, much stronger from them. Maybe they have been doing some work in that regard, because, you look at all that raw statistics and stuff like that. Most of the maps, they tend to be fairly even. So moving into Nuke, that might be something actually that Apex are going to have to deal with. There's a ferocious SKADE T side that they've really been working on. Meanwhile, looking at it, Apex are really strong on their CT side of Nuke. So there's a lot of question marks coming into this one. It's going to be an exciting showing. We are into the 9th round. It is well underway. Still not sure who's going to be coming out on top. Fairly even, but it does look like Apex might be able to steal this one, which would be really, really good for them. Sigh of relief on their own map pick, moving into the CT side.
Yeah, Spellland trying to bait them into something, but Apex just standing still stoically, not playing his games. I like it when people do that. Just don't run after the guy. He will lose if you just stay alive, so it's his responsibility to jump at you guys. But they are taunting each other with graffitis. This is a level of mind game I haven't seen yet, Scriv.
Falling asleep here. All right, there we go. Okay.
Nope. Now you're awake.
They might have messed it up. He might get it.
Oh, he still has 1 HP more, doesn't he? No, it's 54 on both. No, yeah. 45
Actually,
and 46.
I think you're right. I think
APEKS
survives, right?
Yeah, he wins if he survives, but this is an hour long. I didn't see the timer. Spellend does pick it up in the end, but yeah, the timer is like 1 hour for this knife,
yeah,
so
that's fair.
you can't exactly wait for it to go.
I've never really paid much attention to the knife round timer, because they're normally over in like 30 seconds. But that, to be fair, is a relatively big clutch, right? I just mentioned Apex, pretty solid on the CT side of things. SKADE, meanwhile, you look at it, although the win percentages are not great, so like you take the side and all that percentage with a grain of salt. SKADE are a bit more even. So I think if they can get off to a strong start on the CT side, they have a lot of trust in their T side, not only on the map, but also today. They've been looking really good in that sense. So we downplay it, we joke about it, but that knife round might actually make a difference to this game. If Apex can't put up enough of a fight here on the T side, it might mean that their CT side has to be world-ending. So, little things, man. They can make some big differences. We'll see.
Very much so. And we'll be seeing SKADE starting on the CT side, and let's check in on our betting partner, LootBet. With these odds, pretty even across the board, all things considered. I would give SKADE the edge, obviously, but Apex, no slouch on this one either. They might just take it.
All right. Moving in.
Just a fast
oh,
outside
the
take.
speed. Yeah, there's so much speed here from APEKS. However, they're ready to hold it down. Denisaur coming in from Mini to catch Truth on the backside. Spelland over at the front does get dropped by Marcelius. They were both trying to catch each other. It's Marcelius to win. However, the advantage still in favor of this CT side. Player over at ramp goes down, and it looks like the CTs have done enough.
But
For now.
the A-hold is pretty strong here, though. One looking at main, one looking at heaven, one looking at hut exit, and he'll hear squeaky open. So basically everything's covered. So if that bomb is heading toward A, which is, it's on Dennis's back, it's going to go toward heaven in the long run. With 1 minute remaining, definitely enough time to get it up there, but there's going to be an initial gunfight. They better win. And at this range, I favored the USP any day of the week. But as I say that, they are going to ramp, obviously, so there being no B setup like the one on A. Just duplicate here in the back halls, trying to see if they're going to come down secret, which they also control. The map control going completely the way the T's early on here, despite being lower in numbers. And the bomb is going to go down uncontested unless duplicate can do something. Sees the bomb carrier, but falls back completely as he knows there's others there, and it is a 3v2 retake with two coming in from vents, but one of them already falls. Marcelius picks him up. Dennis, Pistol God, gets two and wins the round for them. I did revoke his Pistol God status earlier, but this one, you know what? Reinstated. That was the right time to roll back the years and get those headies.
Yeah, key round. Getting off to a strong start on their T side of their own map pick when they're a map down, right? There's a lot coming into it and a bit of a sigh of relief. Brilliant stuff. Really good to see. And as well, those individual plays always rally the team. So, certainly going to be interesting here.
Util exchange happening there towards Squeaky. Along with some early damage, but not going to be enough to kill anyone just yet, as the, well, T's just sort of chilling back, kind of going for outside, but not fully committed. Well, the CTs, well, they've left ramp completely empty. Focusing instead on outside, Rainwalker here with the deagle. Trying to find someone through it, and maybe he'll find someone, or two, or three. Rainwalker, all down to him, only gets one. And
I mean, still decent though, right? Because they're retaining their advantage off the back of it. I think he does a bit of damage onto a second, so not out of the question for SKADE. Marcelius away from the rest of the team. Denisaur down and ready on B. It is certainly not over yet. Marcelius really needs to stay alive, or at the very least find a frag on the top side. Rotations have started to come in. Duplicate in behind. Truth not watching, and he will drop. There goes the bomb as well. Meanwhile, it's all on to Marcelius. Wow, okay, I was going to say Gruss still alive but on low HP, but as soon as I think about it, who's gone? Marcelius, 1 on 4 required, and I think he takes a bit too much damage off that first. Only 10 seconds. SKADE have done it. The force buy of the second round works perfectly for them. They'll even survive with the bare minimum of 3 that we always talk about. So actually quite a clean force buy coming through. They've recovered an AK, a MAC-10. So big money coming into the next round. A really good opportunity to just spiral this out of control.
A MAC-10 and the Scout. So those two weapons are uniquely fitted to nuke as a map, because you can just put the Scout outside. It does plenty of work onto Silo or into Secret, right? And, you know, the MAC-10 and the MP9 that they have now, well, you just put those on to A on top of hut. If your enemies don't have a molly, which we see they do not here, you're pretty much safe on top of hut regardless. Although, that position is occupied by an M4, and Oxygen on the A site instead has the MAC-10. With Duplicate, if I'm not mistaken, with his MP9 on ramp. We'll be seeing this A take coming in soon, though. Oof, a nice one from Rain. He sees the bomb as well, but knows they didn't push past the smoke as Oxygen clears it. Honorary Bogdan. Rainwalker takes the Mac-10. And we'll see how the other SMG in this round fares. MP9 does a little bit of work, but really it's the AK and the Molly that do the most of it. As the T's have lost control of the bomb completely, and, well, this round is completely over, isn't it?
Yeah, another Molly coming in. It buys so much time for the CTs to set themselves up cleanly, to just hold on to this bomb. So there's a slim chance that the smoke might work or that someone pops off. Truth does get the AK, but yeah, it's a difficult spot, right? Immediately traded. He's not fast enough to swing across and find Spellan. Dennis does get the bomb. They've done it. Mission complete in that sense, but the round itself not looking good. 1 on 3, 25 HP. You know, he knows there's one guy in hell, but other than that, what else has he got to work with? He's also only got 10 seconds, so literally nothing else to work with other than the information. Spelling going to try and stay alive and take him down after time, or just before. But all the same, second round for SKADE picked up, again, relatively cleanly. The economy for APEKS is in the bin. So we'll see them go for a big eco, and it will be a third for SKADE, off to a pretty strong start here on Nuke.
I know we're only 3 rounds in, but I do like the positioning of SKADE so far. They seem to be having this CT side under control, but, you know, very limited data to work with so far, so we'll see as this progresses. Looking good for them now, you know, going for this aggressive trophy room hold, for example. There's just a lot you can do with that off the back. While the T's playing it ultra passively, they never go fast out, they just hold lobby initially. Not really sure why they would expect aggression to come in. Well, Venislaw does aggress outside, but with a Mac-10 and against saving players, that is a hot knife through butter. But what's also equally bad is the M4s. They don't get any worse when you don't have armor. And Oxygen does pick up a double off of Heaven, and it's all down to Dennis. Even the Pistol God can't do anything at that range with a Glock, and he does fall in the end.
Super clean stuff. That's what we wanted. I mean, again, it's not impossible, right? But a nice pickup coming in, not dropping any players. We're in a fantastic position on the SKADE side. I cannot reiterate enough. It's insanely good. And if they keep this rolling, they keep it going, this could be very hard for APEKS to break the bank and very hard to even break the setup. We'll see, though. First rifle round, first official rifle round coming into play. See how it pans out.
Well, so far, secret control going the way of APEKS. Spellan is there to hold it, and with an M4, not ideal. Usually, like, you would like to have an op here, as there's so many angles to fall back on if you kill the first one, you know? You just turn that into a multi-kill, and yeah, if you make a mistake and aggress, it does turn into a... what's the opposite of a multi-kill? And, ooh, I like that flash. Bounces off the ventilators up there, pretty good. Dennis does pick one up outside, and we do see this round going the way of APEKS, unless Duplicate is able... well, no, the bomb, where's it going? Minimap confusing sometimes. It is going toward A, with no contesting to speak of. The CT players all being pretty far away. Oxygen here on ramp, the others on B. But, as we've mentioned before, keeping 3 guns alive, 3 men, is very advantageous. And with this kind of bank, they're just ensuring that the bank isn't being broken at the moment. Just keeping those extra lives, as it were.
Ooh. Talk about those extra lives. It looks like they might be dropping away. Maybe all 3 of them, which would not be good at all. Rainwaker gets one, but it's just not worth. I think he should have abandoned his teammates and gotten out of there. Sure, they've got money, but just having that one extra M4, even the 2, right?
Yeah.
It really does get to players from time to time where it's like, oh, whatever, I can buy in the next round. And I guess in their mind, they're going to win this round. So, you know, we're looking at it from an objective and believing in both sides equally kind of outlook. So,
but if SKADE can, really show that doesn't really apply to them, fair play.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, right? If they can take this round regardless and it doesn't matter in the grand scheme, then, I mean, power to them. Oh, Spellin. Okay, the fact he goes for a repeat there, I really do like that. It's a shame he's not able to find it. He's going to go for another after the nades. Surely with that flash coming in so close, though, he will look to back away. Yeah, really not fancying his chances at all.
Well, I mean, if they already used 3 nades, they kind of ran out of nades. So you go there, you post up, you get 1 kill, you go back, 1 corner, you post up again, turns into a 2K. It was a calculated decision that he made there, and would have worked out nicely if he had stuck it, I think, if his flicks are good enough. But that's neither here nor there, as an A-take looks like it's going to be in the cards. Marselius in heaven. Oxygen probably looking at him, and Gruss does pick one up. But at that point, Oxygen is now distracted, and the heaven execute does happen. Rain does get the bomb down, but falls eventually. And we have a 2v1 on our hands, with Duplicate not being able to find the head of Marselius there in heaven. The spray, a less than optimal decision if you're going for just a headshot. And this is going to be another round for APEKS. SKADE's economy not going to be looking too hot after this one. Extra lives have been depleted.
Very quickly, right? The rough reality of that CT side is, of course, how fast you can run out of money.
And like, what a different world we live in if they just save those 3 M4s there in the last round.
Yeah.
They have another buy right now, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I say, I think it's just all a mindset thing. They thought in their heads they were going to win this round, and it's like a weird, I don't know, like, got to be confident in yourself. So if you run away to save thinking that you might lose this round, surely then you're not confident in the team, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Not that it would spark anything major. I don't think they'd fall out about it, but just in your own personal headspace, you probably are thinking that we're going to win the next round, and that's the position you need to be in because you need to be confident in yourself and everybody involved. However, the way it turns out from a logistic and objective point of view is, of course, they now can't afford to buy. So this is where we end up. APEKS looking good, and I think keeping it even, keeping it close on your T side, if you are APEKS, right? We talked about this. They're really strong on the CT side usually. So if they're keeping it close and competitive here, pretty decent. They can be happy with that. If they can keep this rolling throughout the entire half, maybe a 9-6, 8-7 finish even, possibly with them in the lead, it is certainly doable. This could be a really good turnout. I love this angle from Duplicate, though.
They
when you are by yourself, you're the only M4. Oh, it's fantastic, but it is unfortunate that they can't find the frags. However, the USP's coming in. What the hell? 3 kills out of nowhere, and now suddenly they find themselves with an advantage. And an AWP.
Yeah, that's how you get the economy back on track. Just pick up an AWP from the other team. As Sun Tzu said, your enemy's resources are way more worth than yours. I think his factor was 20, not that much in CS, but we do see 2 kills coming in there in main, and Rainmaker not going to get much done. As I say that, he gets a no-scope headshot while he was on the ladder, which automatically makes you very inaccurate. But tries to just sprint out there and doesn't quite get it in the end. An unfortunate main sort of double kill APEKS got there, as SKADE did have the lead, as you said, but with no armor, which I believe they didn't invest armor into that last round. It was a bit of a tough situation to win regardless, and remember to use our Hellcase codes, Malta V15. Just scroll on down if you're watching this on Twitch, and you'll see a link there that'll take you to all those good bonuses for opening up cases. Very strong outside take going on right now. Duplicate on a bit of an off angle, but he will be cleared. Then he sees that the T's are distracted and starts following them, but lets his position be known. Rainwaker has to do something from the squeaky position and does. Falls back smartly enough. Opens the door to fake it, but jumps on the sink.
Oh, so smart. That is so smart from Rainwaker. They do not check his angle at all, and even like the second guy swings in front of his teammate, looking at the wrong angle. Obviously, Kez here, yeah, he takes it kind of slowly, spots him at the last second, and then Truth is just double peeking with him, looking to commit. Oh my goodness, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant by Rainwaker. Just a little thing, right? And it's like seconds. If he is a bit too slow, they'll probably catch him in transition, or they'll, catch him getting trained on the angle. And that's exactly what they needed. A massive, well, not massive, but a nice little individual play to spur them forwards coming into round number 9. Break the bank to the seat side as well.
Given the economy, it's pretty important right now. And
true.
These Tech 9s, they do go down in hut, getting sprayed. They do have information that no more T's will be heading toward ramp anytime soon, as Duplicate picks both of them up. But yeah, it was a 4v2 that he got those 2 nice kills in. Still pretty major, I would say. Those little touches really go a long way. And we see a timeout from APEKS. 4 on the T side so far, with enough money to commit to abide this one. You think they're in a good position at all?
I think it's kind of rough. Right? They're really hot on the heels, and I feel like they want to remain in this position. So perhaps taking risks is not the best way to go about it, and I guess that's recognized.
A very small buy coming in from them now. Just some utility for an execute somewhere, probably outside, as that's where you throw those usually. We'll be giving them access to secret, but SKADE have been putting players into secret to, take care of those T's more often than not. They are fake though. Spellan waiting underground for literally 0 players to approach as they go main instead. Rainwaker, however, picks up 2, and Dennis switches to a deagle. Hopefully can get something done out of main, but this A take has been in complete shambles so far. Truth going down as well. And, well, while we are in a 2v2, this does kind of feel like the clean and crew to some extent. The bomb being down in the open and everything, the T's have to aggress you, and the positional advantage goes your way, and it's massive.
You never know. What do they call him back in high school? The Pistol King. That's right, the Pistol Master. Oh, timing going to be everything here. He spotted this player Oxygen, who thinks he's covered from his boy behind him in lobby, but then the flank coming in on top of the flank. Dennis not going to be expecting Duplicate, surely. Yeah, and he will get taken down. That is a shame. It would have been something, but it ends up being just a little less. It's still pretty big damage, still plays into the hands of APEKS, where it was a half investment, right? And very quickly, if they win this round, they break the bank, they're back in, But it would have been nice to see an ace clutch coming in from the old guard himself.
Could have actually expected the player in Squeaky, and here's why. The CT on A was clearly looking away, so he thought he was covered from Squeaky, right? So off the back of that, you can assume the other player is in lobby somewhere, maybe ramp. So he should have at least taken like a 10-second look behind him before moving forward. That would have probably won him the round, and yeah, that would have been sick to see, but hindsight, 2020. We didn't actually know how ironic that idiom would be once 2020 came along, but
Well, yeah. Goodness. That is a really good point, actually. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Everyone making that joke for years and years and years, every year at
and
New
then
Year, right? And then it just comes back to bite us massively. The comedy gods
yeah,
really didn't like it.
the simulation, whoever made the simulation, he's got a good sense of humor.
Maybe we'll meet him one day. Spellan. Beautiful trigger discipline, able to drop Gruss. A really good angle, actually. I don't think there was much showing. Duplicate able to drop Marcelius outside. 5-on-3 just like that. APEKS has spent so much time getting people in behind enemy lines for it all to just fall apart. Oxygen with the double on the front side as well. Dennis, his flank, his spooky spot, his sneakiness is effective, but nobody else on the APEKS side is able to do anything. So 15 seconds left. He'll just hold on to this AWP, to be honest.
He should do. With 9 seconds remaining, he probably can't. You could have taken your time with that one, buddy. He wasn't looking at you at all, but you can never really tell with these models. Sometimes when someone is looking straight up, I think it looks like they're looking at a 45-degree angle, right? It doesn't really show the actual model like looking straight up. So Dennis couldn't have known that he wasn't being observed. And in the heat of the moment, obviously, he thought that was like a 100 out of 100 shot, but he does end up missing it. And it does cost him the AWP. Would have been a nice save. Instead, they go into this round saving around 2k money on pretty much everyone except Dennis, who has an AK. And we're going to be seeing this outside take. Dennis and Denislaw trading kills. Oxygen getting Gruss. And APEKS are down to only 2 players. Outside presence not really doing much for them. And the bomb is still stuck in Squeaky behind the smoke. With low HP as well and a Tech 9, this just spells disaster. And he starts making footstep noises, which really, okay, gets Oxygen in the head. Tech 9. I'm loving the one-tap potential you can have with it now. And it does go away eventually. Does die eventually, but that was nice to see that kill onto Rafters.
Yeah, it does definitely feel like the Tech 9, I think, has been put into a decent spot, if I'm honest, right? Where it was a bit ridiculous, then it was kind of useless.
No, it's like, like an alternative to the CZ.
Yeah, now it's fair enough, right? And it's a bit more situational. I think we're seeing a lot more teams utilize it, actually, in the CZ moving out. But the thing is, CZ on the CT side,
that's so mental.
Sees a lot more.
Like, after all these years, no one knows this, right? So don't tell anyone. But the 5-7 is very OP. It's still OP.
Hidden.
It's been OP since like the beginning of the game. I don't know when it was last like redone, but it wasn't redone much. It's pretty much been the same statistically.
I think there wasn't much of an adjustment, right?
But all the guns surrounding it, right? The Tech 9, the CZ, they've been OP for, years there. And the 5-7 just never really made a comeback.
Yeah, I feel now it comes more down to like preference. Some players just really like on a close angle having that automatic power.
Yeah.
But beyond one kill, the CZ is so hard. So hard to make work, right? Whereas the 5-7, I think, has a bit more potential for 2 or even 3.
But so you could argue you can do the same with a P250 and just keep the $200, dollars for a flash. So maybe this like very old loadout system needs to be rethought. Just let people have both the CZ and the 5-7. Hey, we can even get the R8 back into the game, See some kooky wall bangs from all the way across the map on a save round. That could start happening, but no one's going to put the R8 into their inventory because it replaces the Deagle. No one wants to replace that.
Yeah, I do think it's good, though, that we're having these kind of conversations about preference rather than it being objectively one pistol only.
That's such a good spot for gun balance to be in.
Ooh, speaking of good spots, Spellin creeping through, and he actually gets the flick onto Dennis. He wasn't prepared for him to be there. But he will find the frag. Dennis needed the instant headshot. Rainwaker, oh my goodness, this could be huge. The other side of the smoke is being watched by Gruss. As it fades, will he be dropped? Oh, I think he might just be able to spot the backpack there, It does fade. He's able to find one, but Gruss ready for him. the very least, the damage in that exchange is dealt with. Marcelius also dropping oxygen and taking down Duplicate. Marcelius doing all the work, as he so often does for APEKS. It looks like they might be picking up a 5th round. Denislaw falls a bit too easily. Spellen, with the nade and the tag through the vent wall, does indeed drop Truth. That is cool.
How did he both throw the nade and wallbang?
I think he wallbanged him prior, and then threw a nade, and then tried to wallbang again. A bit of a weird turn of events, but it means he feels a bit confident to go for it, maybe.
Probably not. I wouldn't do it. I mean, the bomb is already halfway through. Finding 2 kills that fast? Oh, surely not, Spellen. Surely not. You can't be going for this one, Spellen. You can't be going for this one. He gets the 1, but Gruss hides just in time. He knows where he is, but that metal on the hut just too thick to let the bullets through. Gruss survives. Oh my, that was just an intense... I mean, I knew he wasn't gonna, like, get the defuse after Gruss started hiding in hut, but the fact that he couldn't even pick up that kill, that was a little bit heartbreaking there at the end. As we will be seeing a timeout from APEKS. Haven't moved up much in points since the last timeout, have they?
Not massively, but I think they realized the position that maybe that round has put them in. But we'll see. We'll see. They're still going to have to fend off a very strong SKADE coming into this round. It's not like they have immediately broken back. So it'll be hard for them. And I think that's why they come in with the timeout, right? But, of course, 5 rounds on that T side, not terrible. 6 would be pretty nice, pretty comfortable. We talk about shifts in side strengths and stuff. I think there's been a small shift on Nuke. Just a small one, but 6 rounds now is a bit more achievable, it feels like. Oh, Spellen not fast enough. Does spot them out, though. And smokes and mollies all coming down.
Good nade.
Nice nade. Does a good amount of damage. No frags as yet, but the jig seemingly is up, and there's a couple players ready and waiting down here in the back halls of B, so APEKS really need to be clean, really need to be finding these shots nicely, because it could spiral out of control. They could end up dropping, and as you see, these 2 players that are hidden on the stairs are indeed hidden. They're not taking aggressive faces. Ooh, Truth, though, reading into it perfectly, outplaying Rainwaker, dropping him down. Denislaw, meanwhile, also getting clapped out in the control room. APEKS, the timeout works out perfectly, at least initially, and now it's a 5v3 recovery, 5v2 recovery for SKADE. And I think as the numbers dwindle, the chances of recovery become very, very slim. Spellen fancies his chances, though, no matter how slim they are. Does find the first, sticking around. Are they going to go for it? It looks like it, I guess.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's confident. Oxygen, I think, at this point is perhaps looking to recover the AWP and get the hell out of Dodge. Ooh, he's not able to do so, yeah. I figured it was going to be difficult for him. Grusto gives him no chance at all. And APEKS pick up the 6th. So they're happy with where this half is at the moment. However, winning that one gives them really good potential of picking up a 7th, actually.
Yeah, a bit heartbreaking for SKADE, as their hold on those stairs down in secret was actually half decent. I mean, yeah, Denny kind of leaves his teammate alone by rotating back, but he rotates into like a position in control room that you don't really see that often, just sort of sitting in that corner. And frankly, I did expect him to get a double there with like a spray transfer or something. Does fall in the end, though, with 0, and kind of gives up the round off the back of that. Especially with other gunfights not going APEKS's way. I mean, SKADE's way. And APEKS do find themselves in a commanding position so far. SKADE, pretty bad buy, but it is the last round, so they had to go for it. 0 money across the board.
Yeah, really going to be tough to hold off. Somewhat of a fake out on A as well, as they are clearing ramp nice and slow, nice and wide. Oh, we will see the players move in real fast down towards B, though. A Molotov to cut off one half. Oh, and they're so disjointed here on the team side of things. Spellen finds one. They very quickly want to get out of there, though. On the T side, great frag from Denisaur. That drops the bomb as well. Going to buy more time for these rotations to come back into the upper bomb site. So APEKS really have their work cut out in the final 35 seconds. They are up and down all around, really unsure of where to go. In a 5-on-3 as well. This is real deadly. Spellen staying alive, and that is all they are looking for right now on the CT side of things. Gather information, try and stay alive. Dennis does clean him up, but it's not pretty here for APEKS so far. Another one coming in, looking good. Duplicate, though, with the position that makes a difference. Able to find the first. Looking for a little more, perhaps. Baits out the AWP, but not able to do it just yet. Denisaur, remember, he's got an AK in hand, so I think buying time here on the T side is so effective. Oh, and they will drop them all. Beautiful stuff to pick up the 7th. It was dicey, but they managed to do it, and a really close half coming in.
Yeah, strange to see them commit to the ramp take, especially since they were expecting a low buy. You do expect like the rotations to be as fast as possible, right? And once they go for the B take, there's already 2 players waiting for them. At that point, you really should just turn around before you lose the 1 player. That being said, I mean, they do rotate to A successfully, and they do plant and explode the bomb. Doesn't kill Marcelius, hilariously enough, as you can no longer take damage after the round is over. But we will see what happens once they switch sides here.
Should be over in just a second. It does seem they are taking as much time as they possibly can here, Sermon.
Hopefully their coaches giving them some useful advice.
Indeed.
Straight from the Marvel Universe, Punisher, coaching...
Is it Kez actually on 0 kills? Wait, hold on.
Surely not.
He must be. He's on 13 deaths. That's insane. That's actually insane. Not a single kill in the entire half.
1 score. That's off that 1 assist that he got.
Wow.
That caught me completely off guard because everything else is like completely uniform, right?
Yeah. And it's like, just from watching, no one's really been popping off. It's like everyone's had rounds here and there.
Yeah, and APEKS did fine, 7 rounds on the T side. That's pretty good.
It does make a difference, though, moving into your CT side, right? The chain is strong as its weakest link, as they say. So if you've got an area of the map where you've got a guy who is not performing, unless new half, new me, and that may well be a lot of what they've been talking about there in the break. All the same, though, the odds looking pretty good for APEKS, but certainly not cut and dry, as you would say. Really, really close stuff coming into the second half. And like I say, keep your eye on a Kez. Really could make a difference if he is dying a bit too easily or not holding his spots cleanly.
Yeah, be sure to head on over to our betting sponsor, LootBet, if you think you know which way this one's going. And a fast A execute, no CTs. There is one in heaven, but he seems to have dropped down, I guess. That's not how you repair a KD ratio, but hey, if he can throw a flash, that's going to be a lot more useful for his team. Because his flash comes in. 2 of them, in fact, but Rainwaker isn't flashed off of neither of them. The CTs do pick up a lot of kills, and Spellhand is the only one left alive. That was grotesque. As Spellhand can't do anything while there's 2 CTs just popping bullets into his chest, and Kez gets the honorary defuse there. After his flash helped him retake that successfully. So, yeah, maybe he's just been in the util spots up until now. Who knows?
Possibly. But still, 0 kills and a half is
no
insane.
No player should have 0 kills at the end of a half, no matter what you do. Unless your job is to drop your starting pistol.
Yeah, literally just die. Like, be the bait. And who knows? Maybe it'll work for them. We'll see. Rush coming in here onto the A bomb site. The Mac 10's tearing through the initial defense. 4-on-3. Org, meanwhile, through the smoke. Big nade as well. Maybe going to do some good damage. It does. Duplicate eaten alive by that. 3 versus 3. Certainly doable for the CT side. You have to bear in mind there's no kit available. So they're moving in nice and quick. M4 retrieved by Denislaw, meanwhile. He picks up 2. Looking for the 3rd. Certainly not out of the question, but surely low on bullets. Needs to pull off a reload at some point. Doesn't matter. Marcelius just out-survives him by 12 HP. And they will find themselves the 9th round. It is awfully close. APEKS, though, taking the lead early into the second half.
Marcelius really caught him in transition there, as I think the T-side player was trying to rotate to hut or something for a better afterplant, or just, you know, burn more time, essentially. But couldn't get him fast enough, and the spray down really not favorable if the CT is showing that little surface area of himself. You really want it to be a quick dink and a body shot to dispatch of him, but either way, both teams on an okay buy. The T's lacking some utility, the CT's lacking some guns. And we'll see which way this goes. Is the nade mightier than the rifle? Apparently not. Duplicate and Rainwaker pick up a kill each. As Rain gets a second. And this outside control completely theirs. They can just go A slowly off the back of this, I suppose.
This T-side again, though, from SKADE is really solid.
Yeah.
APEKS in behind. That's an awkward fight. Almost wins it, but not quite. Ooh, unintentional rhyme, but all the same. 5-on-2. I mean, should be doable now that they know that there's one on the back end. Surely. Okay. Thank you. Jeez. And then Oxygen gets in above Truth. The MP9 really doing some good damage there. Such a shame. If he had an M4, it would have been a couple kills for him. Maybe he could have made SKADE sweat, but not going to be the case. Straight in. And APEKS, just like that. CT side. And the fact that it comes down to 1 in that second round will have to force buy, in fact. It would have been a double eco. So, force buy into this one, eco the next if they don't win it. And SKADE by that point will probably be up to 11. So very, very quick shift coming in from the T side back into their favor.
All long-range weapons on the CT side this one. Scout and Deagles. They're not really setting up for long ranges here. In Trophy Room, heading to radio. They are going to have a bit of a crossfire with Deagles. Let's see if that works, if the T's are interested in that side of the map at all. They're not interested in outside. And this doesn't look like a typical A take. I think they have someone on the roof, but we'll see which way they decide to go eventually. They expect like a CT rush from somewhere, you know? Low buy. You have to rush. I guess you don't. And hopefully they'll use that utility if they decide to go toward the ramp side. APEKS picks up 1. Woo! You did it!
Ooh, another as well. Maybe more? No. Does get dropped, but there's a tag through the smoke there. Spellin left on 9 HP. This is certainly not impossible. Oh my goodness. Dennis got overlooked. Gruss, meanwhile, backs up his teammate to keep things even. We'll see here. 2-on-2.
That's a good plan.
Go down. It is a pretty solid angle to work with. Both players coming in from heaven here on the APEKS side of things. So, although they're able to spot Duplicate, Rainwaker has the perfect position. Gruss plays it fantastically, though, and now it's all left on to Duplicate on low HP. Needs to find one of these frags quickly. Gruss is creeping up on him, and he takes him down. Now it doesn't really matter so much. There's not a lot of time available. Duplicate just hiding away, playing this perfectly. And surely, you know, if you're able to just get him off the bomb, that should be it. He's too smart for Marcelius, though, who makes maybe a bit of noise, or Duplicate just reading into it perfectly. Doesn't matter that he goes down there, as SKADE do come away with the round. Still being kept costly by both sides, so anybody's game. But APEKS, of course, the plan was to eco out this next one, and I think that's how it will indeed go.
Man, whatever happened to Pros Don't Fake? I think Marcelius had, like, enough time to defuse the bomb there. Just barely, but if he had just stuck it, that would have maybe been a defuse. But overall, very well played by SKADE there. Someone did type into chat, easy SKADE 916. We'll see if that does indeed happen. It will definitely be an 11-9 as APEKS here with a Zeus at most on one player and an AK on another. Grust just waiting for that opportunity. Patient as ever. Don't remember my Pokemon, so I don't know if fire beats electricity, but he does fall back once the molly falls.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I feel like
it's neutral.
There are a few matchups there, like neutral, yeah. Probably is. Either way. Okay. We're getting some damage in here, and again, it becomes a bit shaky. How does Kenny get another one? What the hell?
Good aim.
And they've split up as well. Oh my god, and Marcelius comes in with the AK. That's so well played. It's all on to Dennis Law, 1-on-3. He does get the bomb down, but...
Well, that molly just buys him just enough time to rotate back.
Maybe?
And the smoke
I think he knows. Yeah, he fully knows. That's really smart, actually, that he doesn't get too giddy for it. A nade could also really, really send things south. The smoke is out in the open. He had to go for the triple spray down. He can't get it done. APEKS will steal it away. Oh, with not even a buy, just tiny investments. Of course, the AK that they saved from the previous round doing most of the work. So credit to Marcelius, as always, for the APEKS side of things. But SKADE, man, that is their round to lose. And they did. Oh,
credit
terrible.
to them, though. That 1v3 there at the end played about as well as you could hope to play it. I mean, a triple spray down at that distance, I'm not buying it. That's not happening no matter who you are. And SKADE does decide to take a timeout. Try and adjust, trying to reassess the situation. They know they have a good T side lined up.